Hello, this is Bobby from Copel TV Repair with a video of a problem that we had with a Vizio VW42L. But this video is actually about two things. Number one, a problem that tripped me off on this TV, and more than that, about the inverters in this set. The symptom of this video of this TV was that it would come on, the light on front of it will turn from amber to white, but it wouldn't start on. Classically, this is a problem of the main board. We disconnected first the power supply, the inverters. We saw that the power supply board was good. Then we checked the main board. There was nothing on the 12 volt line there. We'll come to those in a second. We actually tried a different main board that we know was good from one of our TVs, and nothing changed. It continued to behave the same. So we switched our focus to the inverters, and it turned out that the slave, this guy was shorted and was not allowing. It's very strange. The main board was coming up. The power supply was not shutting down. It was still staying on, but it wasn't coming up with the secondary 24 volts and the 12 volts that are needed for the main. So it was hanging in between, behaving like a bad main board, but the problem wasn't the main board. The problem was in those two classic inverters that are 36, I don't know if you can see that, 6632L-0448 and 49. Those are famously failing, and we do sell both repair kit and replacement boards for those. Now, before replacing them with different ones, I actually tried repairing the slave. It didn't work out. Basically, a repair kit, I mean, if I spend the time, I probably can make it work. But I gave it 5 minutes, replaced all four, replaced the IC, plugged it in, checked the rest before that, it popped again. So instead of spending more time on that, I just replaced both of them with the ones that we sell on the website for those. As you can see, and this is what this video is really mostly about, as you can see, those are very different boards. And if you pay attention to something else, this is a slave board, and this is a master. That's C and that's D. And they are turned in the same way in which the originals were, but they're flipped. This is the slave and this is the master. And if you pay attention, there is an extra cable here that goes to the T-cone. This one, it comes to here, that doesn't, it can actually be plugged in the master. I just realized that this master has the ability to get that plug. We didn't plug that in, and it doesn't affect anything. Now, what I want to say is, those boards cannot be found brand new anymore for a long time, over 2-3 years. So TV repair places all over America and the world are using replacements. Those two are probably the 4th generation replacements that we're using. We've been through different ones. Those are designed for 47-inch, and some customer says that they wouldn't work here. That is actually not true. They come up with a slightly higher voltage, but the panel is taking it all right. Once it starts, it is basically pulling pretty much the same current, because this has extremely high resistance. This is a plasma. And once they start up, the voltage in the inverters, as you probably know, lowers once the plasma gets ignited. The inverters gets lower, and they're actually pulling less power and less current out of the, I don't know about less current, but they're definitely loading them less than if they were 42-inch inverters. So those boards are going to last longer. This video is a proof that this is doable and possible. As you can see, we're on a separate cable. We supply those cables along with the inverters that we give. I modified this, the high voltage output cable. We generally supply 2 of those. But here, just for the sake, I modified the originals, and they work just fine. So as you can see, this is totally doable. The TV is working and producing light right now. This is what I wanted to stress on. There are a few things. Most of the time, we don't flip those. We don't flip the master and the slave. I did it this time because on the bottom of the board, right under those, there is a metal cover. The copper for the grounding goes underneath those two. And if I had turned them around as I normally would and put the master where the master begins and the slave where the slave begins, it is doable. But those do not make a good contact with the chassis, and this sometimes becomes a problem. Other times, like with this case, the power cable is short enough, and as you can see here, it's pretty stretched. That's not very nice, but I've done this before. It's not too stretched, and it's going to stay like that. I've done this before on this TV, and on many others it does. The bottom line is, those inverters that we sell as a replacements for 6632L-0448 and 449, we do test them. We do know that they work. Every now and then somebody comes back and say they don't. It does require a stretch and a few other things. The originals did have the shielding on top of here. I don't know where they put them. Apparently we'll close it without. Oh, there they are. We wouldn't be applying those anymore. Nobody in 2015 uses those in LCD TVs anymore. Bottom line is they do work. You can use them, even though with a little tweaks. You don't always have to switch places, master and slave. Again, normally we don't. This time it just was easier. Thanks for watching.